Hey everybody, welcome back to Radio Exotica FM Logan Paul special. Now I told you guys that we'd be talking about this, and we are talking about this. Now, for those of you that don't know, what we're going to be talking about tonight is Logan Paul and what has happened. If you guys don't know what has happened recently with Logan Paul, I'll catch you up quickly. Pretty much the gist of things is that he decided that he was going to create a video in Japan, and that he was going to create a video that showcased himself and his fellow members of the Low Gang, as he calls his crew, the people that were around him, in a place called the Suicide Forest in Japan. It is notorious for a very, very, very high rate of suicide. It is the place where every single person well, not every person, but a lot of people go to commit suicide. It is such a terrible, terrible reputation in that forest, and it is really something that is so sad to see so many people that have this problem with suicide. It's something that I believe that we really need to take a stand against. You know, people saying, oh, depression is not real, he's just sad, he'll get over it, ugh, what are you talking about? Those type of things need to stop. We need to understand that depression is a real thing, that suicide is a real risk for a lot of people, and they need help and they need support. And if they can get support from you, and if they can get support from me, and if they can get support from every one of us, then they will have a higher chance of not wanting to commit suicide, of not going to that dark place where there is no other option except suicide. So what Logan Paul pretty much did is he went there and he discovered a dead body. Now, the respectful thing to do would be immediately shut off the camera, in my opinion. It would be to stop what you're doing. It would be to understand that this is not a joke. This is not a game anymore. This isn't publicity. This isn't the type of publicity that you want. And therefore, you should switch it off. Switch off your camera. Switch off from the Logan Paul character as he portrays, which is a very hyped up, very, you know, as he calls himself, a maverick, a person who's really, really out there, who's really trying to be a real risk taker, and go from being that into being someone more respectful, into being someone who can understand the sensitivities of the situation, you know. And what you hear in the video, if you watch it, it's been deleted now, but if you watch the video, you'll see and hear Logan Paul's gang saying, you know, oh wow, is that a dead body? Go get the camera. Like, that's something that should not happen. As a radio presenter, as an online podcaster, as a guy who does know a little bit about publicity, not that I'm such a famous person, of course not, but in the end of the day, as a guy who does know a little bit about publicity and the effects that it can have on people, it's really, really, really a big shame when people out there do not use their fame for the right reasons. Like he said in his apology video that you saw, that in the end of the day, he was trying to make an impact. He was trying to showcase ways to prevent suicide. He was trying to get exposure for suicide prevention, but he went about it in a complete wrong way. In my opinion, the best possible way that he could have gone about it is very simply to shut off the camera, to show respect, or even if he wanted to leave the camera on, as PewDiePie, the biggest YouTuber on YouTube, specifically stated in his video discussing it. If you want to have publicity on this, if you want to do these type of things, then the best possible thing that you could do is to completely cut out and completely edit out the scene with the dead body and just show the forest in general and say how bad it is. You know, you can run around, you can do whatever, you can be that up guy and that upbeat guy, and then you can talk about suicide prevention as a serious topic afterwards. You can make donations to the suicide prevention organizations around the world. I think that it's been summed up very, very well by a lot of other YouTubers and a lot of other celebrities and personalities from around the world, that Logan Paul made a mistake. Now, that's basically the story of what happened. He did something disgusting. He did something that absolutely violated all rights of privacy for this person. You know, his family is grieving. They didn't even realize, they must not have realized that he was dead at that time, because the body was just hanging there. It was lifeless. He showcased the body in such gruesome and such close detail. And that's the problem that I really have about it. We're discussing, for those of you who are just joining us right now, we're discussing Logan Paul. We're discussing the incident that has happened recently with him showcasing a dead body in the so-called suicide forest in Japan. And if you notice, a lot of people that defend Logan, they talk about the side of things that, oh, he made a mistake, but he was only trying to, prevent suicide. He was only trying to do other things. His intentions were good, and that he made a mistake and that it was a one-time thing. A lot of people cite Logan Paul as the more mature of the Paul brothers, with Jake Paul being much less self-aware. But in the end of the day, if you look at that entire Japanese vlogs, if you look at the series of vlogs posted a few days before this incident, you'll see the way that things work is very different. He's very, very disrespectful of Japanese culture in general. He's very disrespectful of everything about other people. He's not treating the people that he's running around showcasing as people. He's treating them as objects for views and for money. And whatever you say, I get it. I hear the other side of things, of course. I do understand 100% that he did demonetize the video. He did make an apology video, and people do make mistakes, and, eventually people do need to learn from them and move on, and that people should forgive and give second chances. I mean, PewDiePie was talking about not one to judge. And that's the thing. That's the one special factor about this broadcast. It's not judgment. It's not about me giving an opinion to say that I'm better than him. It's not about me giving an opinion to say that, oh, this is something that is crazy and no one should do, and therefore I've never done anything like that. Of course, I've never done anything like that, but that's not the point. I'm not judging him for what he did. I'm saying that what he did was wrong. The facts are that what he did was wrong. Now, we want to know what you guys think about this incident. We want to know about everything that you guys think about this incident. I know there's a lot of support for both sides of things, of that Logan should be forgiven, Logan shouldn't be forgiven. He hasn't made vlogs for a few days. He's been taking, in his words, time to reflect, time to understand what he's done, and that he should be back soon. There's a lot of people that support the fact that he's stopped for a while. There's other people who support the fact that he should come back. That's something that I want to know your guys' opinion on. What do you guys think? What do you guys really want? Do you guys want it to be that Logan Paul is shunned by everyone? Logan Paul loses his money? Because in my opinion, personally, if I had to state it, I don't think it should go to the point where he loses his source of income, where he loses his fan base and YouTube. I just think that he and his fans should take themselves a little bit more seriously, that every single person should be accountable for their actions. And I think that what Logan did with the apology video is a very good thing. I think that, taking time off is one of the smartest moves I think anyone's ever done in that incident, because anyone who's done something to that level, or any level where it is very, very disrespectful and a very horrible mistake to make, immediately, kind of slides towards apology videos and then moving on. Whereas with Logan Paul, he's apologized and then taken some time off to reflect. Now, there are some people out there. I've just received a few comments over here. I'm going to read some of them. There's one from Angie. Angie says that it's all about him trying to deflect onto other people. As he said in his apology video, that he's only out there to make good content, and that he makes it every day, and he's plugging his merch in the wrong sentences. Okay, I don't know if she meant sentences or scenarios, but I'm going to say scenarios in this case. In the wrong scenarios. She then goes on to state pretty much that Logan Paul is taking time off just so that the heat cools down, and it's not about him being remorseful for his actions. Well, you know what? I think that only Logan really knows if he's remorseful. I think only Logan can tell you whether he's remorseful or not. I don't think we'll ever know a true answer if anyone truly does feel bad or ashamed. You can see that there's a lot of remorse in his video, but as I said, I'm not condoning the actions that he did. I'm not saying that makes it okay that he made an apology video. There's been a lot of really, really, really harsh criticism about YouTubers and about celebrities in general, that when they do something wrong and they apologize, that it makes it okay. It doesn't make it okay. It's the apology that makes it an accountability. There was a YouTuber recently who you guys wanted me to talk about, and I spoke a little bit about him, but his name was Adam Blampier, and he did something very, very terrible, which we'll go into in another Radio Exotica FM special. He basically, what he did was he used his power to really harass people and to really abuse his power. He went away. He got fired from his job, and he is no longer in the YouTube business. That's something that a lot of people want Logan Paul to do. There's other people who say the opposite, that no, he shouldn't lose his livelihood. I say that it's all about you guys and what you guys want. I think that it's really, really cool to have a fan base such as you guys. I think that it's really nice to have the ability to discuss this and to have an open discussion about this. This discussion will continue on the Discord, which I will link into the YouTube version of this as soon as this has gone off the air and it's in a podcast form. I'm going to link the in the description. I'm going to put a link in the description to the Discord group that you guys can join. It's I'm going to put an invite link, a permanent invite link, so that you guys can join the Tier 1 Discord and just talk about it and discuss it as much as you guys want, because I want to know about it. I'll be discussing it with you guys a little bit as well. And we're just going to further the discussion with Logan Paul's history. Pretty much, Logan Paul is a guy who really pushes the boundaries on a lot of things. He makes a lot of very edgy, very aggressive, very upbeat, but very, very heavily misleading content at times, but also makes a lot of interesting content. He makes something that nobody else does. He pushes limits that nobody else would. As he calls himself a maverick. He calls himself an envelope pusher. He calls himself someone who really takes the risks that everyone else is afraid to take. I don't think that that's such an accurate description. I think it's more he does things which he knows will get him publicity. I don't say that that's the bad thing. I don't say that that's the worst thing that a person could do, as long as it doesn't lead to what this incident has led to. For example, there was a video a while ago that Logan Paul posted, and he spoke a lot about this video afterwards. It was a colorblind video. It showed those glasses gave him the power against colorblindness, that those glasses, he put on a certain pair of glasses and they took away his colorblindness. Now, in reality, he had doctored that video completely, and he had over-exaggerated the power of these glasses. He had shown tremendous amounts of emotions, when in reality, the glasses did not do as much as he had said they had done. And that's something interesting, is misleading content on the internet is one of the most common things in the world. The internet is based of unlimited amounts of information that anybody can truly add to this global World Wide Web, as the original WWW stood for. It's something that people can continuously add to, and a lot of misleading content comes from that. YouTube in particular has had a lot of problems with a thing called clickbait, where people will post different types of titles or thumbnails or videos showcasing one thing, whereas the actual content has nothing to do with that, and you're being misled just to click on it, which is clickbait. In the end of the day, though, Logan Paul is an avid user of clickbait, of course, because something like that will definitely get him views. It'll definitely get him more publicity. I don't think he's used it in such a negative way ever in my life. I don't think that any of his videos have truly gone as far as this video. And I think that the right decision right now for Logan would be that when he comes back, to try and do things differently. He's got a huge fan base. He's got loyal fans. I mean, majority of the comments that you see on his videos or in his community section on YouTube is all about him coming back. Please, Logan Paul, come back. You know, his fans are dedicated towards him, and I don't think that he needs to use clickbait to get any more views or any more money. I think that right now Logan's at a point where he can truly do videos that are accurate to the title, that are accurate to the thumbnail, that are content that relates exactly back to what he says it's going to relate to. His brother Jake Paul, of course, is one of the most clickbaiting YouTubers on the planet at the moment. But Jake is a separate story. Right now, if you guys are just joining us, we are discussing Logan Paul. We're going to take a very, very short break, and we're going to play a song. Now, usually, of course, I would not play a song in an incident like this. I'm doing this just to take a little bit of a break, and then we are going to come back straight away with something very interesting. Just 1 minute. My producer has told me actually that we are not going to be taking that break because there's some interesting information that's just come through about Logan Paul. So sorry about that, folks. If you were looking forward to any music, there will be no music in this video, in this radio broadcast. Instead, we are going to just continue discussing the new information that's come through. Logan Paul has actually been berated by a few YouTubers, but now PewDiePie has made another video discussing Logan Paul in a little bit more depth, in a little bit more seriousness. According to what the video says, is that in the previous video that he was discussing Logan Paul, he was in a much more joking or meme-ish way about Logan himself, while I was focusing seriously only on the incident that happened. Now he's focusing very seriously on both Logan and the incident that happened. He reiterates some of the stuff that I was saying. Of course, the video was posted before it was just not made aware to me. So I'm pretty much saying the same thing as what he was saying before. If you look at the way that he was disrespecting the entire Japanese culture, if you look at the way that he was disrespecting every single person that he came across, he went into fish markets and decided to buy fish for the sake of running around the entire city just holding these fish, and then put it on the back of a taxi and videoed that. He ran around busy touching people and coughing, and that is something that is hugely disrespectful. PewDiePie mentions that in Japan it is highly, highly, highly disrespectful to be sick in public and cough in public. It's why they wear the masks. Contrary to popular belief, they do not wear the masks so that they don't get sick only. It is also as respect that if they are sick, that they do not spread the germs and get other people sick. Whereas Logan Paul, who was sick in part of his Japanese vlogs, decided to walk around maskless for some of the time, whereas other time he did wear the mask. One of the major incidents, though, that he points out in that video, if you guys can go check it out, it is one of his latest videos that he posted on the PewDiePie channel. But one of the things is that Logan Paul, you can see, is that when he goes to a temple and he throws coins into a wishing fountain, he wishes for ludicrous things, and he does so with such a carefree attitude towards something as quote-unquote sacred as that temple. I think that this is an underlying problem with Logan Paul. I think that he's not taking himself seriously enough. I think that he's not taking other people seriously. I don't think that he realizes consequences to actions. I think that for him, it's all a publicity game, as at the same time as all being just a fun game. I think that if he does grow, he could be one of the best and most highly watched YouTubers on the planet. He is growing rapidly in terms of views. But I think a personal growth is more what he needs right now. I think that one of the major things that has been happening with Logan Paul is that he was always touted as the more mature, the more serious, and the more down-to-earth, self-aware of the two Pauls. But he has now deteriorated, and in the end of the day, I think that it's a testament to what he stood for, and the fact that he stands more to do a video and has more inclination to do a video that has nothing to do with the subject matter that is stated in the title or the thumbnail, and that actually is misleading and disrespectful to the place that he's in or the people that he's with. I think that he has more interest in doing than making a video talking about something serious. I don't think that he has to be a serious YouTuber. I think that he can be amazing the way he is. I just think that he has to stop misleading people a little bit, and I think that he has to grow up. I think, in my personal opinion, when Logan does come back, he's got to make sure that he respects the people that he's around, especially if you are in a foreign country where the customs are completely different. As PewDiePie and as Jacksepticeye and as a lot of other YouTubers and a lot of other celebrities stated, when a person is polite, it doesn't necessarily mean that they like you. It means that they are tolerating what you're doing. And sometimes not even that. It's sometimes that they are not going to tell you how they truly feel, but you must know in those situations that this is acceptable and this is not. That doing something like running around with fish in your hands, screaming in the middle of Japan while being sick and not wearing a mask, and also going into temples and disrespecting them, that is something that is not acceptable. And I think that all culminated in this one incident with the suicide forest, where he went into that forest and saw the dead body. And instead of switching off the camera, instead of going forward and deciding this is how it's going to be, that no, I'm not going to film this, or I am going to film this, but I'll edit out the dead body and not show it at all. And I'll just talk about what we witnessed, because it's okay. You can talk about what you witnessed. I don't think people have such a problem if you are going and doing something and you're trying to raise awareness, and then you witness something as dreadful and as sorrowful and as painful and sad as this, and then you make a vlog about it and say, look, this is what I witnessed. These were the emotions I'm going through. Logan Paul, the one thing about Logan Paul is that he really connects with his fans. He really tries to show them every bit of his life. And I think that he could have done this in a much more respectful way that would have garnered support from everyone. He would have been in the media for the right reasons. He would not have needed to take this break if he had not shown the body, if he had been respectful. I think that certain emotions overtake certain people at different times. He was seen laughing at the dead body, which I think is atrocious and really disrespectful. But in the end of the day, certain emotions somehow affect certain people in different ways. Certain scenarios, certain things that they witness will affect them in different ways. I think that it's just a testament to the fact that it was more important for him to continue videoing his reactions as opposed to shutting off the camera at that point and saying, we're not going to film this. You know, it is disrespectful. Yes, I went through that emotion, but no, they don't need to witness that part of the video. I think that it's something that's truly amazing when you see someone not do that, when you see someone sit there and say, they don't need to witness this. We can actually have the same video with good content without the need for disrespectful actions within that video. Now, just to mention another point about the entire incident is that it isn't only YouTube celebrities or YouTube personalities that are upset and that are, you know, angry with Logan Paul, and more importantly with the incident itself that happened. The celebrities of the world, the people of the world are now really concerned. And I think that there is a silver lining to the situation. There are people out there who are now raising more awareness for suicide. There are people out there who are raising concerns about depression as a disease, depression as a real sickness, and not something that for so many years was seen as a simple sign of weakness or a psychological problem that was not valid enough to be considered a sickness. I think that out of what we can take out of this is the seriousness of situations like this, is the seriousness of taking responsibility for your actions, yes, but at the same time, the seriousness of what was going on, of the fact that there are people out there who are in such a bad situation that suicide is an option. There are so many helplines for people out there. If you or a friend or anyone that you know is suffering, please let them know about these helplines. I'm going to put links into the description of the YouTube version of this once it goes out as a podcast. And just contact these guys, contact suicide prevention lines, contact depression lines. Seek help, because there's so much help out there, and there are people who are willing to devote 24 hours a day to you just to make sure that you are happy. And I think that that's something that is really the essence of every single human being should be, to be happy and to help other people be happy. You know, Radio Exotica FM, not to plug my channel here, not to make it seem like I'm taking this opportunity to say what we do here, but just in terms of what we do in one way is that Radio Exotica FM was started so that people who did not want to listen to a radio station in the traditional sense and didn't want to listen to a podcast only speaking about specific things, or a broadcast live only speaking about specific things, could actually get and receive different types of content that they chose specifically. You see a lot of people doing that as rewards on YouTube or as special one-time offers. Radio Exotica FM does that every single time we do a show. We do it completely off user-based requests for music and user-based requests for topics. But back to the real serious issue at hand is that if someone is seeking help, help them. If you can't help them personally, send them to someone who can. There are so many good organizations out there. And I think that it's a real shame if people see this and do nothing about it. I think that this is now a call to action. YouTubers have been doing charity live streams. You can check those out all over YouTube. You can check Jacksepticeye's new charity live stream that he did for suicide prevention and for depression prevention and depression help. Depression is a real disease. Suicide is a real problem. It is not something that will go away easily. But together, if we try and if we make a huge effort, if we do something real, if we do something good with what we have, if every single person who saw someone like this helped them or sent them to people who could help them, then we would have a very, very different world. In the end of the day, you know, if you are depressed or you know someone who's depressed, that person, whoever you are out there, that person needs cheering up. And it's a simple thing. It's a simple matter of helping the person. And if you are depressed personally, there is help for you. That's the silver lining of the situation, to know that there's always help for you. That no matter what happens, do not see suicide as an option. Do not see ending it all as the way out, because it is not. Because the true way out is to take yourself out of that situation completely and to move into a new, better, happier life. And it's difficult. It is truly, truly, truly difficult, but there is help for that. And there are people out there who will help you in order to get to that position. I've been DJ Twister. This has been Radio Exotica FM, Logan Paul special. We hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that you've enjoyed it. It's a little bit of a different take. It's not really saying Logan Paul is one way or the other. It's saying that there are opportunities that can be taken out of this situation, that what he did was shocking, that what he did was disgusting and atrocious, but that there are opportunities now for every single person, including Logan himself, to change, to better themselves, to be the change, to talk and take action. And take real action in order to help other people and in order to prevent any situation like this from happening again, and in order to really comfort people who are going through this and to help people who are going through this. So hopefully you guys took a lot out of this. I really enjoyed doing this. It's a very different type of Radio Exotica FM. It's you and me. It is no one else. You know, I have no amount of words that can describe the thank yous that I owe you guys, that just for being who you guys are, just for understanding and for helping to create Radio Exotica FM into the show that it is today. I know that it sounds like I say Radio Exotic FM. It is Radio Exotica FM. I should really work on the pronunciation of that. But in the end of the day, I've been DJ Twister. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for listening out there, whoever you are. And please get in touch with me, because as always, we are going to continue tomorrow night with our absolute amazing Monday Blues. We're talking about sadness. This will take you out of that sadness. We have some awesome songs and we have some great topics. Check my Twitter at Exotica FM for all the latest updates. You can check Facebook at Real Twister, and of course you can check my YouTube channel DJ Twister, as well as my Spreaker Radio Exotica FM. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great night, and as always, stay easy and live easy.